Hi everybody again, this is episode number 24 of Random Encounter, where we are currently working our way through the Abomination Vaults. We are looking at various other bits and pieces in terms of, what we can do now that we've got subscribers and everything, but we are focused for the most part on Abomination Vaults, and we're going to bring up a little conversation that myself and Mr. JJ there sat down in that bottom corner that way. There he is down there. We've just been discussing between recording the previous session and starting the recording of this one, sort of like our general thoughts on how the group is handling things and how things are going, because I pointed out that it seemed to be that a lot of the stuff that's big on this level, so not necessarily the Morlocks and not necessarily the little bits and pieces that they've encountered, but some of the big creatures, some of the big encounters have really stumped the group. They've really caused some problems. And the general reaction of this group, rightly or wrongly, it depends on people's point of view, has been to back out of those fights as quickly as possible and avoid them. Now, I am certainly not going to say, in any way, shape or form, that they shouldn't do that. That is entirely up to this group's point of view and opinions. But what is people's perspective about why, or what about these encounters have caused the group to sort of be a bit more cautious? What's the sort of process? What's the sort of thinking of this group? Because ultimately there is obviously a pitfall, which is if you don't deal with these encounters, you'll never level up to be able to actually handle the rest of them. So at some point you're going to have to fight something that gets you over that hurdle and gets you into that next level. But what is causing the group to be this cautious at the moment? And I'm going to start with JJ, because JJ was the person that we were talking about this with, so off you go.
I mean, when it comes to this particular setup, it was mostly orientated, or our original conversation was orientated around damage output. And that's part of it to an extent. I mean, the Minotaur skeleton is the giant Minotaur skeleton is a really good place to be. And to an extent, the spirit that we just encountered in the previous episode. Playing Moz as a military type character, because that's my own shared background with him. Do we have the tool set right now to deal with this? Do we have a plan? Do we have everyone in the right position?
Mm-hmm.
The giant Minotaur is a technical problem in a small space when the scout is ahead of everybody and on the wrong side. That's a significant technical issue, because when the shooty person is in toe-to-toe combat, bad things happen. And again, with the spirit, it almost took out one character straight away. And from the information Moz got from Invar, this is something we're not geared for straight away. We don't know what we're going into beyond this is going to be a problem. Couldn't fully identify it. Let's step out of this until we've got a battle plan. And so far, we've been able to close the door. And, that's going to be great until we can't. But that's part of the reasoning for me and my character.
Fair enough. Becki, what's your kind of opinion of the fight so far and the ones you've kind of had to pull out of? Do you want to go into those fights and carry on, or are you kind of in the opinion of no, actually this is the way this group will handle these things?
We are more. I don't see it necessarily as cautious. I see it more as regrouping and working out the best plan of action. So being able to identify what it is we're fighting, pulling away, regrouping, and then knowing how to fight it effectively. Because sometimes you can just trial and error, but when you don't have many hit points like me, you're likely to die very easily.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm quite happy with that, moving away and regrouping.
Okay. Anything else on that, Dave? Do you think that's kind of just been a pragmatic point of view that this group has taken?
I think we're are being fairly pragmatic, because we're fighting things that do a hideous chunk damage, usually by overmatching someone's AC by 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then the mental equation is, how many of those can we tank? And the answer is not very many.
Yeah.
Because I'm very much aware of how many times can I do 9 to 16 points of healing in a fight. And quite often some of those big chunk damages are like, well, I'd have to max that out, and then it'll just hit us with another one,
Mm-hmm.
and another one, and another one, and then I'm dry.
Yeah.
And that's not a sustainable thing, because we'll be getting into the whole fight, rest, fight, rest, fight, rest, fight, rest thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's computer game logic. We are a group of adventurers.
Yeah.
There's a big thing there. Let's not fight the big thing until we need to fight the big thing. Too often I see a group of adventurers go, it's a thing. It's just knocked 6 shades of hell out of us. We're carrying on fighting because we do not know this concept of back off and regroup.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So with the slobbery thing in the operating room, that was harsh, and we were only level 1 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And JJ didn't have his better armor. I think we might stand a chance against that now. But, you know, that might be first on the list when we've exhausted all our other options of places to go.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're in this campaign for the long haul, and fighting smarter and not having fights if we don't need to have fights is a sensible thing. And I need to chew out the small black thing.
Small cat. Kes, just to round this off, do you have anything else you're really feeling about this?
So, everyone's got her own agenda. She has a life plan that really doesn't involve being down here. So she wants to get out alive. And she kind of likes the group, so yeah, we should probably, work and keep them alive too. But she's used to working on her own. She's used to skulking in the shadows. The build we were talking about in the break is lots of drip damage. It's small, but it's consistent. But that requires the ability to stay out of range, stay unnoticed, and harry. She's a persistent predator in that sense. And that doesn't work with some of the chunkier things we faced. She's also, as we found out a few episodes ago, got an element of fuck about and find out. And that went really badly wrong last time she followed that instinct. So right now, she's definitely being a bit more prudent. But for her, it's a lot of finding out how to work in a team. What are the strengths? How do we do this together? And ultimately, how do we all get out? Because she likes Rin. Rin likes these guys. They're all right.
Well,
I'm not sure if that's in character or out of character at this point.
No, that's in character. That's fine. I like you guys. Genuinely out of character.
We've grown on step one. One thing I would bring you briefly round to, just as the last point of detail, is that character evolution. Like Invar starting to be part of and emotionally engage with and acceptance of and in the group. A little bit of what Becki touched on with Neffy there as well. That kind of engage, but also be sensible with it, and what Phelan did as well, taking that adventurers. We're down here doing some scouting. We're being intelligent with it. Pathfinder doesn't have corruption, insanity, PTSD mechanics, functionally speaking, and we're playing sensible, rounded characters with history and a future that we want. So it's again taking that sensible approach of, would our character want to go straight in and constantly be under assault and strain? Some characters might, but most of us are playing characters who want to be able to walk away, not mentally and physically scarred.
Yeah. Well, speaking about things that might end up scarring you, We have a river
Nice
drake.
segue.
I do my best. I
left it open. It's good.
It was indeed. So we do indeed have a encounter coming up with a large-ish, sort of medium-sized creature, but realistically, when anything looks like that and is about as big as you are, it feels pretty large. This river drake type creature, this unpleasant-looking animal, if nothing else, and I would like all of you, please, to roll your initiative.
Get a better
We have
roll.
+1.
Yes,
You
Scouty.
do get the +1, yes, because of the scouting.
My life.
Well, that sounds like you're doing well on that one.
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing amazing.
You're doing amazing. All right, then.
Yep.
Well, let's start with you and your amazing roll. What did you get?
Well, you know, just to bring us in completely, I rolled a 2, which
2?
means I have an initiative of 9.
9. Okay. Neffy.
28.
28 is slightly different to that. So that's considerably different. Inva.
11 plus 6 is 17.
17. And Phelan.
28.
28 as well. The way that Pathfinder works is if you have the same initiative, which Neffy and Phelan do, you can pick who is going first in the initiative order. It is not fixed. So, which of you two would like to go first?
Don't say it all at once.
Because it
What was
will
that?
be Neffy or Phelan to go first. It's entirely up to you which way round in initiative you go. So, which of you two would like to go first, basically, at this point in time?
I guess it makes sense because I'm at the front.
Yep.
For me to go first.
Yeah,
That's more
yeah,
than,
go for it.
more than fine with me. Neffy, it is your turn.
Cool. I can't see it from here.
No, you can't.
So, 5.
I mean,
I
you
can see it from there, though.
definitely can see it from there. It's now sort of risen up, so it fills that 3-foot gap between the water and the dripping sort of roots and everything. You can tell that there's probably a bit more space that it could go up into, and it's starting to sort of pull itself through the water with its clawed wings.
Okay. Shoot it.
I mean, that's basically what you do. So yeah.
In and around the face, please.
If I'm right, because it's not been yet, is it flat-footed?
That is right. It would be flat-footed to you.
I'm slowly learning, and then I get excited, like I've learned the rules and realise I'm doing D&D rules instead of Pathfinder. That is plus that, so 20, sorry.
20 is a hit. That is a hit. And you do get your sneak attack, so d6 and an extra d6.
9 damage.
9 points damage. I mean, it's not a small amount, certainly. 9 points damage. You have one final action.
I try to identify.
Oh, okay, not reloading. Okay. I will roll that very quickly for you. You are that much. Yep, you identify the creature, no problems at all. This is a river drake. I said it earlier before, and it is indeed a river drake. It is a amphibious dragon-based creature. What would you like to know about our dear river drake? Would you like to know its actions, its sort of aggressive type skills? I will note, just to make life easier for you, it doesn't have any passive abilities, so you don't need to ask me about its passive abilities. So either its attack actions or its defenses.
There's
Defenses. An armor class of 19, which, as I said before, I allow people to know. It is resistant to acid damage, quite considerably resistant to acid damage, in fact. And it is immune to being paralyzed or being knocked unconscious. It also has a particularly good fortitude save.
I relay it quickly to people. Don't hit with acid.
Sure.
Okay. It will then be Phelan's turn.
Right. Well, Phelan's going to have to jolly along a bit and see what he can see.
So stepping into that position, you can see the creature. Again, it's just rising up out the water. You can tell that it's kind of clawing its way through, but also seems to be swimming through the...
Right. Oh. Well, as Neffy shot at it, and Moz looks like he wants to stab it in the face. I guess we're going to be throwing the horns and hitting it with an electric arc.
That seems
It's in the water.
It is in the water. Certainly doesn't seem to make it a sensible idea.
Okay, basic reflex 18, please.
Basic reflex for me. I rolled a 7. It does have a +9 reflex save, but that still means that is going to be a fail.
Okay, for absolute minimum damage of 5.
5 points of damage. While it might well be in water, there's so many things dangling down from the ceiling. The bolts sort of earth themselves, I guess, by going up through the things, and it only really catches it a little bit. That is all 4 of your actions, and Inver goes next. You actually managed to pretty much out-initiative it for the most part.
Ooh, okay, cool. So I am going to spend one action, 1, 2, 3, 4, hiding out the back. Down there. No, really. Down there.
Yep.
And then I'm going to use Daze on it.
Okay.
So you cloud the target's mind and daze it with a mental jolt. The jolt deals mental damage equivalent to your spellcasting modifier, which is 3. Target must attempt a basic will save.
Okie dokie.
And if it critically fails, there are additional effects.
It will not critically fail, but that will fail, so I will still take the 3 damage. And I assume that's everything.
Yes, because it's a 2-action cast.
Okay. Yep, that's fair enough. Right. Check. Alright. Okay, it is its go. So put that back into the chain. There you go. It is going to. It sort of swims through the water. You can see that it's got almost like fins for its flippers for its back legs. It doesn't really have anything, and it sort of drives itself through while clawing its way forwards. As soon as it sort of gets up onto the land, it's more like a fish. It sort of flops down in front of Moz. But it's then as its next action, because Moz hasn't got a reaction yet, because Moz hasn't gone, so it doesn't get attacked. It is at that point going to... Yeah. You see this sort of pouch on its chest bulge ever so slightly, and then it opens its mouth and this ball of acid flies out of its mouth, and is going to create a 10-foot burst, which it's going to place at the back here so that it hits everyone in that 10-foot burst. Let me just get the old measuring templates out. There's a 5-foot burst. There is a 10-foot burst that gets everyone. And what I would like everybody that's in that burst to do, please, is to make a reflex saving throw, please. A basic reflex saving throw.
Whiskey.
Yeah, alright. I got 8 in total.
8 in total.
Yes.
11, same.
Oh dear.
20.
Bad day.
20. Okay, that's fine. And Phelan?
11.
11. Okay. All
Not a
of
good day.
you will take the following amount of damage. It is going to be...
T.
well, I mean, Neffy's going to take half. So
Oh,
at least there's that. But everybody takes this damage. That's a lot of damage. 16 points of damage. Halved for Neffy, so Neffy takes 8.
Ouch.
Right. I don't suppose in any kind of world that qualified as a harm spell, did it?
It doesn't, no. No, that's most definitely not a harm spell. In addition to that, everybody that failed, so that is going to be Invert, Phelan and Moz, the acid sticks to you and you start taking persistent acid damage. So this is something that we haven't dealt with a lot. Acid damage, persistent damage. At the end of your round, every single turn, you get to make a roll to see if you effectively get rid of the acid off your skin. That is a 15 or higher in order to do that. However, you can spend an action on your turn to immediately attempt to clear the acid off you. To boost the roll that you make at the end of the turn. And that makes it a 10 or higher to clear it off. So there is an action that you can take to effectively try and clear this stuff off you. That happens after you take the damage. That is that one.
That's a flat check.
That is a flat check, yeah. Poison acid. And acid also for Mars. That is, however, all of its actions for the turn. It's not able to do anything else after that point, which I'm sure you're all rather glad of. And it does make it Moz's turn.
That was not part of the plan. I would like to stab him in the face, please.
I assumed you probably would.
Yep, I've taken somewhat umbrage. That's better. 11 plus 11 for 22, please.
22 is most definitely a hit.
Yay. Right. Stibbity stabbity. The D8... No,
D10.
Halberd is D10.
D10 plus 4 for
D10
you.
plus 4. That's better. That's 9 plus 4 for 13.
13 is quite a big old chunk, and this creature does not seem happy with that in any way, shape or form. It is still alive, but it looks like it's bleeding quite a bit.
I don't know if this will be a gimme or not. Having had that nautical background and being an underwater marauder, would he have noticed whether or not the creature was disadvantaged in the water versus the land?
It is most definitely better off in the water than it is in the land. On the land.
Okay, in that case, then we're just going to give it a big old brutish shove to try and clear out some space.
When it's moving on the land, it's most definitely kind of just trying to use its wings like a pulling type thing to sort of pull against anything it can. Whereas in the water, it had a little bit more with its tail and everything else.
So why are you
Yeah,
shoving it back into the water then?
I was thinking about trying to grab some space to manoeuvre and to minimise its number of attacks, but you know what? Stop it. We're going straight back in. He's going to reverse the halberd and have another stab at it. For a 15 plus 6 for 21.
Is a hit.
Have it. Swap out. Metal dice. Come on, metal dice. 4 and 4 for 8.
8. While this thing is still alive, you think a blow of about the same amount would probably take it out.
Be a bad day. Both Moz and I are in some considerable amount of pain probably right now. So we're going to go for it anyway. This is technically a neg 10, so only the plus 1. The plus 1 striking to help here. 12 for 13.
No, that does not work. You do, however, at this point take a point of acid damage. That is an automatic thing.
Oh.
And I would very much appreciate it if you make a flat check.
I'll happily make that flat check. Can I use my hero point for that last attack?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've got the flat check to make anyway. But that's a 16 plus 1 for 17.
That is a miss, I'm afraid.
Stay la vie. Flat check. What's the flat check value? What am I rolling again?
Just a d20, you need to get 15 or higher.
So I got a 3.
So you are unfortunately still going to continue taking that acid damage. Yeah. Unfortunately,
And the orcish skip. Visibly melt and disappear.
automatic at the moment. Right, okay, cool. That is that done. It is now Neffy's turn at the top of the next turn.
Can I try and tumble through?
You absolutely can try and tumble through. That is perfectly within reason. An acrobatics check, please, against a target number that I happen to know.
Sorry, it's acrobatics, did you
It
say?
is indeed an acrobatics check, yes.
18 plus something.
I mean, I'm pretty happy so
7,
long as it's more
yeah.
than +1, which is the amount you needed. You'll
Yeah.
be fine. So yes, you are more than able to sort of roll through and pass this thing. Remember, you have your crossbow in hand at the moment, though.
Yeah, I was then about to drop the crossbow,
Okay, you drop the crossbow.
and then which is a free action, correct?
It is, yeah.
And then draw my rapier.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done 2 actions, because tumble through is 1,
Yep.
drawing the rapier, and
Yep.
then trying to stab it.
Uh-huh. As you go in to stab it, it does have a reaction. It reacts to your attack, and the tail whips behind it as you
Rude.
try and attack. It will attempt to make an attack against you for a total of 17, and just misses you by 1.
Whew!
Doesn't qualify as a manipulate action, does it?
No, that is a reaction, I'm afraid.
But you now have flanking and sneak.
Yeah.
I do.
Stab it in the kiddly bits.
Doing math.
Tick, 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 tick. You're on a +8 here. Come on.
It's
I know, that's what I'm struggling with.
spinning beach ball of death.
27.
Is a
Ooh!
critical hit because of
Yeah.
the flanking. So you will do 2d6 because of your sneak attack. Although I've just noticed, yes, 2d6 -1 because you are enfeebled, which is reducing your strength value.
Yeah.
Double all of that, and then add a d8.
Yeah. Okay. So that's 8. 7 doubled is 14. And then I rolled an 8 on the 8.
So 22 points of damage. Would you care to describe how you kill the river drake?
So I like to imagine that it tried to hit me with its tail, of which I kind of carry it away, and then I'm still holding its tail, and then I stab it in the back.
Okay, so just keeping hold of the tail, keeping it out of the way, you drive the rapier down into the spine of this creature, and it drops
Yes,
down.
the spine.
What was that phrase again?
Ah, yes, he's trickster. He's jester. He's right up the butt.
With you all being out of combat, it doesn't take you guys too long to sort of deal with the acid now that you're kind of there. So that acid, I will say, I mean, there's water right near you. You just sort of quickly run in and wash that off you before you take any more damage from it. That fight is over, and you have this body of this creature in front of you, but also the chamber that you stepped into, this boat launch, as well as the actual cavern itself that the creature was in. And from where Neffy is standing, they can also see another sort of platform off to the north east as well, which they could potentially step onto. So
Let's take the head back. Fulfill that part of the deal.
Can we also just search around the room before we disappear?
Yep.
okay.
What's the rock fall I'm stood next to?
So that is not a rockfall. It is an exceedingly tight passageway. You think that's probably the one that the ghost, the king of the ghost queen Morlocks told you about. A really tight passage that you might be able to squeeze through. But yeah, there's nothing more to that. So in the chamber, dirty-minded people. In the chamber that you are currently looking at, this sort of boat launch, or however you kind of describe it. What you note is that there are several bits of disturbed earth that litter the mudded floor, and appear to be sort of stretch off into the flooded cavern. And with a little bit of sort of understanding of the creature that you've just fought, a little bit of the knowledge that Neffy picked up when they identified the creature, you're fairly certain it's something to do with the river drake. It's one of the sort of things that they do to mark their territory, is these little sort of mounds of earth that they put in the area. So there's really not a lot more that you can kind of discern from this area. But once you are sort of head a little bit more into this flooded chamber, and the water does come up quite a bit. You know, there's only 3 foot of head space, but it sort of, you get a good few feet into the water. It's kind of well up to waist level, if not slightly higher. Although there is obviously for Moz a little bit of sort of tilting his head as he walks through. You do find a couple of things. There is a small cul-de-sac in the southwestern area of all of these routes. And by all means, by the way, guys, you can move your tokens into that chamber. I have no real issues with that. Do not worry too much about the gap that's here. That is actually high up. And you work out that if you crawled through that gap, you would ultimately get to go outside. Okay, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Yes, the map does allow you to go out there and wander around. Just as a note, that isn't possible. Okay, so it's just a thing.
Slipway.
It's just a slipway. However, there is a cul-de-sac in the southwest corner. In that cul-de-sac, you start to spot that there's actually a sea chest hidden in this sort of cul-de-sac, and yeah, you sort of spot it as you're wandering around, and you're able to
group step bum steps on Neffy's shoulder.
I mean, I just don't know where I got this reputation from.
Immediately over your shoulder. Hi. It's not locked. You open this up, no problems at all, and you find inside 36 gold pieces.
Hand it
Yoink
over to
into the
Invar.
anti-Neffy pouch.
I hand it straight over.
Good.
An axe, a wand, and
Ooh.
what initially looks like a compass. In casting Read Aura, all 3 are magical.
Ooh. Nice. Let's take those back to Rin.
Can we find out what they do?
Okay, so in a very quick sort of round robin of trying to work out what all of these sorts of things are, you are able to identify the axe, the wand, yep, and the compass. Yes. So the 3 items that you have managed to pick up. The first is a retribution axe.
Ooh.
So,
It answers your question. It really does.
a retribution axe. This is a +1 great axe which bears a human skull design. So that sort of center boss of the two-handed thing is a human skull. Whenever a
Just
creature
like it back.
Whenever a creature damages you with an attack, the skull changes its appearance to look like the face of that creature. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus on your next damage roll against that creature before the end of your next turn.
Nice.
Because the face reshapes each time you're damaged, you get the additional damage only if you attack the creature that damaged you most recently.
I want to put that on the halberd.
Yeah.
Now the problem is, that is not a rune. That is a specific, unique magic weapon. So it cannot just be added on to things you already own. It is stuck to that specific item. Okay, the wand is a wand of magic missile. So it is a single cast of magic missile per day. Nice and simple, that one. The compass is something called a wayfinder, and this jumps out at quite a few of you because the wayfinder is an official tool of the Pathfinder Society. This compact compass repurposed ancient technology to draw fantastic power from the mysterious items called Aeon Stones. It serves as a badge of office for agents of the Pathfinder Society and as a status symbol amongst adventurers of any stripe. A wayfinder functions as a compass, which is kind of nice. It does its job. An indentation of the middle of the wayfinder can hold a single Aeon Stone. Placing an Aeon Stone in this indentation provides you all the benefits of having the Aeon Stone orbiting your head, but it protects the stone from being noticed or stolen as easily. You invest a Wayfinder and the Aeon Stone within it simultaneously, and they count only as one item towards your limit. An invested Aeon Stone slotted in a Wayfinder also grants its resonant power. If you have more than one Wayfinder within invested Aeon Stone on your person at any given time, destructive interference from their resonance prevents you from gaining the benefits of any of them. You can still gain the benefits of anything that's spinning around your head. Now, obviously, this one does not have an Aeon Stone in it. It is just the Wayfinder itself. But, in addition to all of that stuff that we've just talked about, so it's a compass. It could have an Aeon Stone in it. It currently doesn't, but it could. You can also command the Wayfinder for a single action to cast light on itself.
Hand it to Phelan.
Thank you.
Useful.
So,
Olarin is the Pathfinder.
Oh my god, attach it to like Olarin, like add a collar and then have it on there.
Little harness sits on his shoulder.
Yeah.
oh boy.
Adorable.
So yes, these are the sorts of things that you have managed to get yourself a hand on.
I mean, Moz should probably have the axe.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's a nice bit of kit. But I'll be sticking with the halberd. Very tempted, don't get me wrong. But I can't currently stow the halberd and use that.
Just attach it to your belt for now.
Keep a hold of it, sure. Might come in very useful.
One battle axe. It is big and heavy is the problem.
Strap it to my back. Do I have the space in my pack?
Not really.
Not really. Carried bulk 8. Am I encumbered at 9 or over 9?
At 9.
Oh.
You are currently at 10 because of this thing.
Jeez.
Do we go and put it with the other stuff at the bottom of the stairs?
I think we do. I think we might use it to decapitate a certain Drake.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then...
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like if my map memory and the player metagames ever so slightly, that landing space leads up to the Minotaur door.
It does. We do not probably want to go that way.
No, not currently.
So
Minotaur is
today.
still alive, correct?
Yes, the Minotaur skeleton is still alive.
just to give
But
you
we have a flashlight here.
Just to give you a brief bit on that landing, a thick knot of roots hangs from the cavern roof over a muddy beach. Stone stairs lead up from the beach to the north. Now, in addition to that, Phelan, you spot immediately that just at the bottom of the stairs, heading up, is a patch of mould. But it is not normal mould. You recognise it as being something called brown mould. And it is a particularly aggressive type of mould that can actually be dangerous to go near.
Yeah, let's not go that way. Let's not go that way, up the stairs and into the room with the Minotaur skeleton in it.
Yeah. Are we going to be coming back with some lamp oil and a couple of torches and flints and steel to burn out that moss before we deal with that Minotaur?
I mean, I have those things, I think.
Same.
But we're all a bit knackered if it gets a bit feisty.
There is that.
Yeah.
How about this? So we've got some fairly hefty stuff and a pile of things at the bottom of the stairs. Let's go and deliver the head of Who's a Good Boy Den to King Disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's go back to Atari, get our
Yep.
ducks in a row,
Have a long rest.
offload some things, see, have a dig in Rin's cabinets and see if there's anything more appropriate to what we're fighting down here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We've got a kill list.
Okay. So, one thing, Neffy, that you do realise now, having had a reasonable fight, dug around for a little bit, it's probably been a good hour since you were fighting the shadow creature, you no longer feel drained anymore.
Oh, amazing.
That feeling of your strength being ripped away from you, that's all gone. That's you're back to feeling fine.
More normal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it.
Okay.
Yep.
So, rather than put people through the process of you guys moving your tokens all the way around, I'm going to very, very quickly pause it, and when we come back, everything should have changed on the map, he says.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. Everybody's moved, and as you can all see, everybody's also healed. We did a little bit of off-camera work, a little bit of area of effect healing done both by Inva and Phelan, but also the decision was made to spend a bit of an hour just patching everybody up and making sure that they were in as good a condition as possible. And they have now returned to the throne room, or what they've discerned is the throne room. So we'll do a little bit of a description, shall we? A sofa-like throne made of an old mattress, several pieces of reconstructed furniture, and dozens of bones sprawls along the northern side of this room. A narrow rivulet of muddy brown water trickles from a narrow tunnel to the south and forms a puddle in the centre of the room, which you know has come from the grothlet there. Sat upon his throne is Grogust, who you've met already. And he looks up at you as you head back in. Ah, you're back. Yes, fair enough. I can see that you have dealt with our water monster. Well, isn't that rather interesting, yes.
I do whatever the equivalent of sense motive is to figure out if he's actually pleased or not.
Mm-hmm.
You make a
Same.
perception check.
I will. Muzzle just as he's talking, carrying the head, being the physically largest individual, just have it forward in a slightly presentatory manner.
19.
26.
Fair, fine. Look, he seems happy that you've dealt with a problem. But you get the feeling that there's something else going on here. Well, you are officially the lackeys of the Ghost Queen. This is done. Now, I have a new offer for you. Surrender all of your equipment and become true slaves to the Ghost Queen.
Put him in the face.
Jog on, matey.
No, stab him in the face.
He kind of goes as if he's about to say something else.
Drop your weapon.
get-
Yeah, I mean,
Slave.
to be fair, he is speaking in Aklo. Just
Okay,
to remind
okay.
you, he is
Oh,
speaking in
Like,
Aklo.
what you'll see is Invar say as she's doing that. So he wants us to become permanent slaves.
Oh, we wants to become permanent slaves. I must have misinterpreted this.
Mars, chop his
And
head off.
Moz will just very gently move forward in a supplicatory manner. Moves character 5 foot forward and present the head to the aid.
He does. He does at this point also say, "Or there is the option of beginning a crusade against the cult of Kanka."
Does the aid take the thing in his
Yes,
hand?
the aide does take the thing in his hands.
That's great. His hands are occupied. The king's going to get stabbed in the face with a helmet.
What was that?
Well,
Crusade.
let's roll for initiative, shall we then?
Oh dear.
No wonder you wanted us to heal before we got in here.
I didn't say you had to. I just suggested, do you want to? You made the choice.
Knowing what we're likely to do, yeah.
Knowing you
Natural
guys.
one.
Something Moz and me.
Right.
That's all right. We're trading places. I got on a 19.
11. Hold on.
Sum total of 5.
Well, fair enough. 13 plus.
It was sneaky, JJ.
Moz is an intelligent character. I think he's got like 12 intelligence.
Okay. The only thing I would say is, Neffy, and Invar, I don't believe
14.
you should be able to stealth at this point. It is very obvious
No, I
what's
didn't.
going on. So just
I
just
rolled
to be
my
aware of that.
regular.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. So 19 for Moz.
19 plus 1 plus 6 puts me on 26.
26. Okie dokie. Neffy.
22.
22, even with just perception. Phelan.
Yeah.
16.
16, and then we'll go in with Invar.
1 plus 4. I'm way too busy waving the crossbow around to pay any attention.
1 plus 4 plus 1? Or is that plus 4?
Alright. Yeah, 1 plus 4 plus 1, so... Oh, 6!
6. It's not
6.
bad.
That's made a whole hill of difference.
A whole
Oh,
hill
absolutely.
of difference. Now, as it happens with this fight, which was entirely avoidable and entirely of your own devising, I shall just remind you.
Hey, he demanded our to submission.
He wanted
did.
the weapon. He's
He
getting it.
Yeah. Moz, you go first.
Yay. Okay, it's not so good. 12 plus 11 for 23.
Who are you hitting?
I went for the king because I occupied the aid's hands deliberately.
23 is a hit.
The 10 plus 4 is going to be a 9 for 4 for 13.
13. Okay. So I am going to be slightly cruel.
Go for it.
I'm going to say you had to take an action to put your hand back on your halberd because you had to be carrying the head
Yes.
in the other hand. So
Yep.
That connects. You hand over the head with one hand and then suddenly grip hold of the weapon and swing it down. That absolutely hits. And takes a chunk out of him, at which point he screams at you. You are more than welcome to, however, have a third action.
I need to quickly reread British Shove. Does it do anything past my... No, only that's up to my end of my current turn. So I'm just going to stab him in the face again. Face. 8 plus... is it 6? My second one. I think it's 6 my second one. By the way, I think
that sounds about right.
8 plus 6 is 14, yeah.
Yeah, is gonna miss, I'm afraid, on this guy. And that is all 3 of your actions. Neffy, it is your turn.
So seeing that Mars has started attacking.
Were you?
Did you expect any different, really, from Moz? I mean, honest.
Yeah, fair.
Slightly stereotypical, every so often.
Cool, I get over here.
Yes,
for
indeed.
one action.
Yep. He is flat-footed because he hasn't acted yet.
Yep, I then stabby stab.
You then stabby stab.
26.
That is a hit. 2d6 damage.
11 damage.
11 points of damage. Again, another shriek of pain. He's far from dead, but you're getting in some early hits here, which is probably not going to help him out much.
And then I try and stab again.
And then you can try and stab again.
16.
That is a miss. That is most definitely a miss. It's at this point that the guy sort of graciously takes this head off you, holding it in his hands, and then turns with abject shock as you swing down this halberd. He is going to drop the head to one side, pull draw a club, which would be a manipulate.
I would like to carry, having done the surprise thrust, brought the halberd down in a sweep, notice this, and offer him an opinion, by which I mean the halberd at the pointy end. And this is a map basic, so it's plus 11, but it's a 3 for 14.
That's most definitely going to miss, I'm afraid. Just a reminder, you are in a new session, so you do have a hero point.
I want to use it now. Yes, I do. Sod it. I'm in for penny for pound. Maybe I shouldn't have. That's a 2.
Do you need the new dice,
Oh
JJ?
dear.
No, that'll be really good next time round.
As
They're
its
like on and off.
final action, it's going to swing with the club and try and hit Mosrin. But with a 3 on the dice and only a +7, that is not going to be anywhere near enough. Phelan, it is your turn.
Okay. That was me to go on. Throw the horns and hit them both with electric arc.
All right. Okay.
So, basic reflex DC 18, please.
Basic reflex DC 18. Okay, so the main guy himself is getting a 13 on the dice with a reflex of +11, a 24. I don't think that will be a critical success, so that's probably still going to be half damage. As for his little mate, his little friend, only he gets a 21. So again, both I believe successes, but not critically succeeding.
Okay, so they take half of 6, which is 3 electric damage.
3 electric damage each.
And then we're going to direct the angry badger to his little friend.
Okay, so off goes the badger. Okie dokie. So move action for the first one, and then
a bitey bite of some number. A bitey bite of 22.
22 is definitely going to hit.
7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. So, after being electrocuted, he's now been hit by a badger. He does not seem overly happy with his position in life. It is, however, now Grolgust's turn. So, his main sort of complaint is with Mosran after having really hurt him. However, I do not believe I have many spells that I can do up close and personal without potentially getting hit. Well, I have got one. So, he utters some words and this sort of aura of magic appears around him in this sort of shield type shape. So he is going to cast shield on himself. He's then going to draw a weapon, which Neffy doesn't have attack of opportunity, and Moz has used his this turn, so that's going to be for nothing. And then he's going to try and hit Moz. So with a 17 on the dice, with a plus 11, again a 28, which does hit, but doesn't
have a double.
Crit you, no. You are, however, going to take 8 points of damage from that club.
25.
Okay. And then it is Inva's turn.
So I am going to check which level the spell I want to cast is. I am out of spells. I cannot do funky stuff to Moz's weapon. I am going to, in that case, fire the crossbow that I'm holding. And because I can't remember, how do I calculate the attack roll?
Okay, so in your case, the first thing, you did say you had it already, so that's fine. You have it in your hands. It's
Can I take
going to
an
be
action to aim it?
I don't believe there's anything like an aim in this system, so don't worry about that. It is a +6 that you've got for your attack.
Really? Hero point 4. For 13 plus 6 on the dice, 19.
And who are you shooting at?
Grolgust.
Grolgust. A 19 just hits. Oh
Good.
no, sorry, misses.
Oh, you're joking.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Good to know. Aim for 20 and above.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now
That's
you
good.
you
Seconds enough.
you can certainly reload and give it another go, but your percentage chance of hitting is very low at that point.
Is reloading 2 actions?
Reloading on a heavy crossbow is...
Oh no, there's a +1 on the crossbow. So 20.
No, I've already included that when I told you the +6.
Ah, okay. Right.
The reload on the heavy crossbow, by the looks of things, is... He says, very quickly trying to find out.
There's 2 on AON.
It does indeed. So, yeah, it is 2 actions to reload it.
I could, but I don't really like it. I am probably going to cast shield.
Okay, you pop shield upon yourself. That is perfectly reasonable. And one more action.
There's nothing. I am so not optimised for this. Hang on, doesn't my spear have reach?
It would do, yes.
So I am going to swap to the spear in
Okay.
that case.
So that
Crossbow.
drop the crossbow. That's free. Get hold of the spear. That is an action to draw the spear,
Yep.
but you have it held and ready to go
Yeah. Thank you.
for next time. Okay, that means it spins round to the top of the second round of this fight. Mosran, it is your turn.
I would like to rage. No, stab it in the face. But with a 14 wrong 15, that's not going to happen.
Well, you've got +11.
Yes, I do. Doesn't help when the dice roll was 4.
Ah,
So the
no.
total was 15.
Yeah, no, that's gonna miss. That's definitely.
He's
gonna
going to be over enthusiastic with that one. He's going to stab it in and miss. He's going to reverse the strike. And then he's going to stab at the buddy. So stab at the aid this time. That's better. That's 12 plus 6. 18.
That is still gonna miss.
Damn it, Leroy.
Oh, are you stabbing at the buddy? Did you say?
Oh, stabbing at the buddy. Stabbing at the
no,
aid for
okay,
18.
that hits. That hits.
Okay. 5 and 4 for 9.
9 points of damage. Takes a fairly wicked chunk out of this thing. It is still standing, mind.
It's okay. Might as well not move. Might as well just stick with it. And he's going to make a third attempt at the buddy, not feeling his luck on the king. That's a nat 20.
Oh, very nice. Very nice indeed.
Plus
Just when you
1.
wanted it. Yeah, that's the well.
Could have been the other guy.
The nat 20 is enough. That is a critical hit.
2 plus 4 for 6, doubled up to 12.
12 points damage. He's still standing, but it does not look good in any way, shape, or form.
So a stab, a return, and a swipe and slash across him.
Indeed,
For
indeed.
that critical.
Neffy, your turn.
Hey, well, I'm wielding my rapier, so I'm just going to try and stab it.
Mhm.
Wait, no. First, I'm going to try and identify him, because if I succeed, I then make him flat-footed to me.
You do. This is true. Okay, so I shall roll that very, very quickly. By all means, make him flat-footed. He is a Morlock. He is a unique Morlock, but he is most definitely flat-footed.
Okay. $22.
22 is bang on what you would need to normally hit him, considering he had his shield up. With the flat-footed, it's definitely a hit. You get your
Okay.
hit. Okay.
So I get my sneak as well, don't I?
You do indeed.
So that's 7 points of damage.
Okay, he's gonna just take all of that.
Okay.
It does matter before you ask.
Oh, okay. And then I'll try and stab him again.
Okay.
Which is 22 again.
Well then it's gonna hit.
Is he still flat-footed?
He's not.
Or is it
No, it's only to the.
No, it's just
it's only
the
to the
first
next
attack
one.
unless
Yeah.
I crit, isn't it? Yeah. So that's 3 points of damage.
3 points damage. Again, he will just sort of take that. Doesn't seem to be overly bothered. Right, the aid. The aid is not in a good way. But the aid is defending his lord and king. So taking hold of the club that he's got in his hand, he's going to swing down at Oren first, because Oren really hurt him. So we'll do a plus, very quick plus. A 20 to hit on Oren.
Which will probably do it.
I would imagine it would. I don't think there's many people that are really higher than that. So Oren will take 7 points of damage as this thing swings round and tries to club him. It's then going to try and bite Oren. But that is definitely going to miss. That is all of a 14, and I'm pretty certain it's better than 14.
Yeah, it's 16.
Yeah, it's 16. And then he's going to try and bite Moz, the most ridiculous thing in the world, and that definitely does not work. It tries to clangs off your armour and comes away with very sore teeth. Phelan, it is your turn.
Okay. Well, what we did last turn seemed reasonably effective, so we'll start with an electric arc.
Okie dokie.
So DC 18 basic reflex.
Okay, so Grolgust will fail on a 15, but the sort of advisor will get a 28 and therefore critically succeed and not take any damage.
Okay, so Gorguts can have 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage is pretty mean, to be fair. What I will check is, can I use... Oh, no, don't put that on. He was on... Yeah, he'll be on that. No, less than that. Yeah, that. Okay, so... No, because it's just a shield block reaction, and I can't use it. Well, maybe I can. Do I want to use it on that? No, I will not use it on that. Okay, so, yep, he takes the 8 points of damage and doesn't look overly happy about it. I will remove that skull, though, because he is not dead yet.
Oh.
Okay.
And Olorin will continue to badger his little friend.
Okie dokie. Make that attack roll for Orin, then.
Hey, bitey. 11.
No, if that's the total, I'm afraid that's not going anywhere.
No. Claws, also not very good. 9.
Oh dear, yep. So unfortunately Olorin's not able to do what's necessary. It is now Gorgut's turn. So slightly concerned about the fact that a certain someone that stood right next to me is more than capable of just hitting me. Whenever I try and cast a spell, which is what he really wants to do. And if I move, I can't move anywhere that isn't going to get me hit. But he's going to try, so he moves over to there, which would allow you to attack of opportunity.
I would like to poke him with my stick.
Yeah, you go ahead and do that.
12 plus 11 for 23, please.
That is a hit. That is definitely a hit. Roll your damage.
1 plus 4 for 5.
You kind of nick him rather than anything else. Then, as he moves away and you do this sort of hit, he kind of leans back, points his fingers out at you, and a greenish ray extends from his hand. I'd like you to make a fortitude saving throw, please.
Fortitude I have +8 on. Just for awareness, I also have a 5 resistance from harm spells.
It's not
I don't know if
harm.
this applies.
No.
Okay.
Harm is a very specific spell.
12 plus 8 for 20.
A 20 is a fail. You are enfeebled 2.
Woo!
As this ray hits you.
Holy snack. Well, that did my flipping things. That's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, +9? Goodness me.
Yeah, it's drained your strength back quite considerably. Inva.
I'm happy organisers.
So, I have been wanting to do this since I rolled the character up. I am going to use Message plus Intimidate to whisper in his ear.
Nice.
I believe this allows you to make an Intimidate check effectively without anybody else hearing and all the rest of it.
Yes, and without him necessarily knowing who it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm casting a spell. He can probably put 2 and 2 together if he notices. But
Probably, yes. Probably. I don't believe there's anything for me to do. It is just an Intimidate roll on your part.
11 on the dice plus 7 for 18.
He kind of looks around the room and just sort of shakes his head. It doesn't really look like that took. He looks like his will is pretty strong.
Okay, that's fine. That was only one action. So my spear doesn't have reach. It would have to be a long spear for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like the fact he stood next to a door.
Yep.
So second action.
Step in.
Third one, I'm going to stab him with the spear.
Okie dokie.
So that is, I believe, a +5. Yeah. 14 plus 5 for 19.
That is going to miss, I'm afraid.
Yep.
Okay, it is, however, Moz's turn.
It's that snap decision. Looking left, looking right, feeling that enfeeblement sink in. Who's looking more harassed right now?
The weakest person here, the one that looks like it's going to fall over first, is the aide.
I mean, you can reach both of them from where you're stood.
There is that.
The point of this was to decapitate, and to throw the command structure into a little bit of organised chaos. As tempting as the closest target is, Moz is going to pivot, and he's going to follow up on that strike, and he's going to make that strike through, effectively risking his back, as it were. That's a 7 and 9 for 16.
Most definitely going to miss.
Swap dice. Second strike through. We've got 3 dice, we've got 3 strikes, we can do this. Technically, this is going to be an exacting strike.
Okay.
So no more than map 5. Map back 5. Jesus Christ.
The dice all
7.
Nah, that's going to fail. That's definitely not going to work.
7 on the dice, so that's a fail. So realistically, it's going to be very difficult. But it's an 8 on the dice, that's not going to be enough.
No.
8 plus 4 makes 12.
No. Every time you try to swing out at him, it's just not connecting. You feel the weight of the weapon in your hands. It's just suddenly feeling so much heavier than it should do. And you are not able to cope and connect. However, Neffy, it is your turn.
Okay. I am gonna step up and try and stab him.
Okay.
So that's one action, two action. Oh! I managed to move my map.
You
so
did.
That's a great start. So now I'm gonna try and stab. 25.
Is a hit. He is not flat-footed to you though, so this is
No, I know.
just your d6.
3 damage.
Okay. That takes a small chunk out of him. He is slowly but surely being whittled down.
And then I'll just try and stab him again.
Okay.
No.
No.
No. Tiny miss.
Okay, so we're back onto the Morlock aide. He does not look overly happy at his situation right now. And he certainly is looking over at Grulgust and kind of not feeling too great about that either. He's going to take a 5-foot step, which will not provoke because of the fact that it's just the 5-foot step. And he's going to try and stab, hit Neffy, who seems to be sort of the one that's chasing after his king quite considerably. Natural 1, so he really doesn't manage at all well. We are not playing with the critical miss cards at this point in time, so I will not worry too much about that. And then he will try and bite you with another natural 1. So this thing comes sort of running over, my king, and just falls flat on his face, hits himself with his stick, then tries to stand up and bite you, and bites into the stick instead, which he has in his hand, completely failing to do anything whatsoever. It is then Phelan's turn.
Right. Well, we've got an effective course of action. So, in with the electric arc.
Nice and simple. Grulgus will fail, and so will the Morlock. Both fail.
8 each.
8? Wouch. Okay, Grulgust looks particularly bad, but what looks even worse is the char-grilled Morlock that falls to the floor. He is electrocuted and completely gone. He just collapses to the ground.
Go, Olarin, go and bite that plastic Tyrannosaurus.
Yes, sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Yes.
Oh,
It'll come out in the wash.
Okay, so
Always going to be too soon.
Okay, Olerin, yes, go for it.
16.
16 is going to miss, I'm afraid. This guy
Okay.
seems to be particularly wiry and particularly difficult to get hold of at the moment. And it is his go. He's going to take a risk. Knowing full well that a certain someone can cast, can hit him even at this range, and does potentially still have his attack of opportunity, he attempts to cast a spell that involves a manipulate action because it is somatic and verbal. So make your attack of opportunity.
That's how we know. It's a good thing we're not playing with those critical hit failure cards, isn't it, really?
Is that a 1?
That's a 1.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
dear. All of a sudden, around Grulgust appear 3 other images of him as he
Oh,
casts
fuck
mirror
you.
image on himself.
Hmm.
Not that I want to make the fight last too much longer, but I've got to do what I can. And then he'll swing down at Inver. Yeah, that'll hit. Does it critically hit? Yes. So he swings down and with a 27
Oh.
hits you really hard with this club. You're going to take 12 points of damage.
Bit worse.
As he smacks you with this club, but there's now multiple images of him stood around. All of them look very badly beaten up, but there are now multiple images of him. It's Inver's turn. Yep.
Well, screw you. I'm going to cast Sepulchral Mask because then you'll take damage even if I don't know which one you are.
That's how that works. So each enemy in the area when you cast a spell or that starts its turn in the area takes.
I mean, I was trying not
Damage.
to get up close and personal with him, but since I'm here,
So his will's not too bad, and that will critically succeed. So he is not going to be affected as you cast it.
so that was 2 actions. I don't really want to hang around here, if I'm honest. But I will do because it'll force him to make another save next time round,
It will indeed.
and it locks off the door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've got one more action. I am going to cast Shield.
Okay, you indeed cast shield. Okay, that is all of your actions. Moz, it is your turn.
That's a GM question. Caltrops. Full-pronged metal spikes can cause damage to a creature's feet. You can scatter caltrops in an empty square adjacent to you with an interact action. First creature that steps into that square must succeed at a DC acrobatics check or take 1d4 piercing damage and 1 persistent bleed damage. Would you be willing to consider one action to grab in, one action to throw, and basically shadow? And to consider effectively me throwing these caltrops in. This guy's attempting to blur his location. He's trying to obfuscate things. It's that we can't definitely hit him. Let's cause him some harm.
The downside is the wording on the caltrops is that the creature has to step into the space. So if the creature is already there, my rules as written would say it doesn't affect him, because what you can fundamentally say is he's standing still. He's not really moving his feet around that much, so it's not going to be of effect. I would go with that.
Has to be into an empty square anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was that query of he may be manoeuvring inside that 5 foot. Thank you, missed. He may be manoeuvring that 5 foot box or not. But no, absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. Halberd over the top of Olerin, and stabby facey Grelgost.
Okie dokie, go for it.
Missed you, not a very good, lucky charm. That was a roll of 7. Plus 9 gives us 16.
That's going to miss, I'm afraid. However, one of the images goes.
Ooh. Should we try it? Can you kiss that one? Kiss that one. Okay, you snuffled it. That's close enough. That's a 9 again.
In
Minus
total,
5 on the 9 on the dice, so plus 4 makes 13.
poof, there goes another one of the images.
I didn't state it, so I don't know if you'll allow it as an exacting strike
Yeah,
on that
that's
second
fine.
one.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
15 plus 4 gives
19.
me 19.
Poof, there goes the final image. You now only have Grogust in front of you again.
It's clear. Shank him.
Okay. Neffy.
Oh, okay. I'll try and shank him.
Shank.
That would be a natural 20.
That would do it. That certainly does it. Would you please roll your d6 and double it,
And a D8.
So,
and then add a d8 on top?
D8.
so 10 plus. I rolled an 8 on that, so 18.
Ooh.
Would you care to describe how you
Oh.
kill the King of the Ghost Queen, Morlocks?
Oh. Oh gosh, I've got to think something creative. I don't know if I can think about anything creative. I like to think that Neffy is just like having the best time ever. She's just like really enjoying this, like woo, and like jumping in and stabbing at him, and then kind of just being all cool about it. And then when she does the last one, she's like nah, and she kills him.
Just dancing around and having
Yes.
a good time. You just slowly but surely
Mhm.
poke and find places, and at the last second you spot a really weak point in whatever he's doing, and the rapier goes straight through him. Well done, everyone. It's a long couple of episodes we've just recorded. It is quite late for us. We're all going to go away now and go probably straight to sleep and straight to bed because of the timing of it is. However, there is some good news for all of you. Firstly, the next episode we'll do is episode number 25. So we'll have hit our quarter century of episodes that we've released, mind you. There have been some that we've lost.
Shh, we don't talk about those.
Lost
Oh.
episodes.
But in addition to that, that is enough experience. You are now all level 3.
Yeah.
And we will see you all next time. Goodbye!
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.